There was a lot on the line that had playoff implications written all over it. There were several games that was played this weekend. You had Jack State versus FAMU. You had Southern versus Alcorn. And you had this game here, Clark Atlanta versus Miles College. Oh, my God. Let me tell you something. This game here, watching these two teams go at it out there on the field, I got to be honest with you. Coach Shea as well as Coach Keaton, both coaches had their teams prepared and ready to get out there and compete to see who was going to walk away with the victory. The one thing for certain is this was Clark Atlanta's homecoming. And you know everybody's in there to come get that feeling. They got to get that old feeling back of when your team won homecoming and it was time to go party after that. Well, you know what? Them good boys, those wild Golden Bears from Miles College, they said, nah, this ain't y'all weekend. We're going to go ahead. We're going to be the spoilers of this thing. Guess what? They came into Atlanta and they shook this thing up something so serious, it even left me sitting there looking like, whoa, Coach Shea might be on to something this season. We're going to talk about exactly how everything went down right after. You know, it's your favorite coach back at it again. 10 toes down, about to tell you how it all went down. This is Tomorrow Sports Network with your host, Coach Walker. If you're new to the channel, please like, share, subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you get all upcoming videos. For all my leaders out there, welcome back. Y'all know the drill. Y'all know the routine. If you haven't done so already, please like, comment, and share these videos. And tap in a friend or two and tell them to come on in. And don't forget, you can become a member of the channel if you wish to as well. Guys, make sure you hit the join button over there. Come on in and become a member of the channel. Like I said, everything that comes to the channel goes back out as far as donations or anything like that. It goes back out to you guys. I don't hold on to none of this stuff. Like I said before, I'll make sure I do something for you. If it's not a scholarship, it's not doing lunches. For somebody getting their score prediction right on a game, Coach try to do something to give back. That's what it's all about because I appreciate you for supporting me. But guys, I got to talk about this game because this game got me fired up right now. Because listen, looking at the theatrics that Clark Atlanta has been able to pull off all this season. I mean, they were down against Bethune-Cookman. They found a way to come back in that game. They were down in other games, and they found ways to come back. Heck, they were down in the game against Savannah State, had an opportunity, but they could not manage to get that thing working right for them. And that was their first SIAC loss of the season. Matter of fact, they can't afford to lose another one. But you know what? Miles College said, that ain't our problem. We coming in here to take over your trap. And guess what? They did exactly that on homecoming. This thing got so out of control. The game was close. The game was close. I gotta give you that. I gotta get a props on that right now. The game was close. It was 14-7 at the half. Now I gotta give it up. Mr. David Wright III. When I say that young man got ice in his veins, oh my God. Listen, this young man threw an interception, came back out there, and didn't have no problem with slinging that ball around the field, making sure he positioned his team to move the ball down, and position his team to put points up on the board. This young man starting the game off, Clark Atlanta gets the ball first. They drive down the field. They ran the ball a couple of times, but Mr. Wright went 7 for 7 passing the ball. Now, I got to give it up to Mr. Keaton, Coach Keaton, and the offensive coordinator for Clark Atlanta University because of the methodology that they use, getting Wright mentally prepared to start getting into that gunslinger mode where he's going to be able to throw that ball around the field like they've done against everybody else that they played thus far this season. And they just dink and dump passes around to the receivers, the running backs, whomever they didn't get the balls to, whoever they get the passes to, completing the pass, moving the ball down the field. Boom, they go ahead, they punch in for a touchdown. They got this thing rolling. And matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Wright was able to rush the ball in for the only rushing touchdown that they had in the game, which was in the first quarter. Now, watching him do that, I'm sitting again. Listen, I'm not going to tell no tale. I am a fan of the young man getting out there on the field, doing the things that he's been capable of doing over the past couple of weeks, watching him play, him and his teammates play out there. And you know what? You got to give credit where credit is due. They were able to go ahead and solidify themselves as a team that's going to be a contender in the SIAC. Like I stated before, the young man threw 40 passes, completed 24 for 308 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. The 2 interceptions, the turnovers cost Clark Atlanta in this game. You got to give it up to Khalil Anglin. That young man, he threw the ball for the day. The quarterback for Miles College threw the ball 20 times, completed 12 for 122 yards, 2 touchdowns. But the man of the hour was Mr. Javante Leatherwood, who was toting that thing. Listen, every time they put that ball in that young man's hands, that man was averaging 13.2 yards per carry. You heard me. 13.2 yards per carry. Look, the young man had 2 rushing touchdowns on the day. Like I said before, he rushed the ball 6 times for 83 yards. I'm kind of upset. Coach Shea didn't give that man the ball a little bit more in this game because, listen, he was toting that thing. That's all I'm going to tell you. Mr. England, he did throw the 2 touchdown passes to the Miles College receivers. Jalen Peterson, he caught 1. He had 4 receptions for 40 yards. And you had Pierre Franks, who had 2 receptions for 21 yards and 1 touchdown. But, again, looking at what Miles College was able to do out there on the field, just from that standpoint of them being able to slow down that Clark Atlanta offense, making them reevaluate some of the things that they were doing in this game. But the biggest problem, like I said before, was the turnovers. They had 4 turnovers in the game. There was 2 fumbles that they lost, as well as 2 interceptions that was thrown. If I'm not mistaken, I think Mr. Wright, he did fumble 1 time in the game. And it just kind of, that third quarter, when Miles College came back out and was able to just kick in the overdrive, they drove the ball down the field. They went up 21-7, and they didn't look back after that. Like I said before, early in the game, at the half, it was 14-7. Between these 2 teams, Miles College knew they had to come out there. If they would have put their foot on their neck, they had to score. They came out, they scored. And, again, they didn't look back in this game. Let me make sure I give my props. Mr. John Robinson. How I remember that name. I got a cousin named John Robinson in Detroit, Michigan. He and I used to play football together in the Little Leagues. And, man, when I tell you, we was always side by side running down that field, man. I would lay them blocks out for him to run that ball, open up the crease for him to do his thing. And it was like, when I saw this, when I heard this young man's name get called, I believe he had a punt block in his game. Man, holy moly, guacamole, if this is not a throwback right here where I see, I'm hearing my cousin's name get called, during the game. I'm like, wait a minute, John Robinson, I ain't out there. What he doing out there? But yeah, that young man, like I said, he had him a punt block. He was able to turn the ball over and allow Miles College to add points on the board. LaShawn Young for Miles College forced a fumble that gave Miles College great field position, allowing them to drive the ball in for another touchdown to further push that lead up ahead. I mean, again, it was just so much that was going on in that game that kept Clark Atlanta off balance. I mean, everything that you could imagine could go wrong went wrong for CAU in this game. Like I said, they got behind in this game 28-7, in which they were fighting for behind, throughout the whole third quarter, going into the fourth quarter. But Miles College understood they could not take their foot off the gas. They had to continue to keep mashing that gas to get things going so that they were able to hold on and get the win in this game. One thing for certain that I understand about Clark Atlanta and what Coach Keaton is doing over there with that program, there is no quitting that team. There is no lead that a team can hold against Clark Atlanta and think that Clark Atlanta is not going to fight to come back. This Clark Atlanta team is not anything like the Clark Atlanta teams we've seen in the past, where they just came out there. If they was down, like, okay, we'll try next week. No, Keaton has these young men understanding that they got to come out here and fight until there's no time left on that clock. And I got to salute Coach Keaton on that as well as Coach Shade, as far as the development that he's been doing with his athletes over there at Miles College. Make sure that these young men are prepared to get out here and play in these games. Yeah, salute to John Robinson on getting that punt block in that started the scoring for Miles College in this game, because the offense looked a little suspect in the beginning. I ain't gonna pull no punches with that. It did look a little bit like, trying to figure out what they were gonna do here, but they got things rolling after John Robinson had that punt block that was recovered for a touchdown. Now, one young man I gotta give some props to, and I hope y'all don't get upset with Coach over this, because when I see a lot of the kids that come through the park that I coached at, I always want to show them love as far as just the appreciation of them and looking at them becoming the young men that they are. Stovall, JJ Stovall, over at Miles College. I watched that young man grow up through the parks, play rec football, going to play high school football. He's over at Miles College playing for them. and the young man's doing a phenomenal job. I talk to Stovall every now and then and again, but I just wanted to let him know that I'm truly proud of what you've become as far as the young man that you are and how you're out here doing the things that you're doing in the community. Salute to you, King. Keep doing the things that you're doing. Salute to all you young men out here that's putting on doing the things that you're doing in your communities as well as at the colleges and the universities that you're playing collegiate sports at. Keep doing that thing. Make the main thing. Stay focused on whatever it is that you're looking to accomplish in life. But guys, Coach gonna go ahead and get up on out this thing. Miles College got the win. 49-28. Miles College, y'all gotta hold on now, man. Y'all gotta hold serve because you know everybody gonna come after you because they want to knock y'all out that top spot. Clark Atlanta, got to see how some things might work out for you if by chance you're able to get some help that will allow you guys to get back in this race to possibly play for the SIAC championship at the end of the season. So we're going to see how everything goes. But guys, Coach going to go ahead and get on out this thing. But like I said before I go, make sure you go over to TLSportsNetwork.com, which is the website, and subscribe to that website so that I have an email address to reach you, some type of contact information to reach you. If by chance I put up every week for the score predictions. So if by chance I don't get to reach you on this channel, reach you through a show, letting you know, hey, listen, you won, it's going to be kind of hard to, get in contact with you. So I'm just trying to make sure I got a way to stay in contact with everybody as far as stuff that's going on, as well as letting you guys know other things that's going to be coming up here shortly through Tomorrow Leader Sports Network. But like I said before, guys, I appreciate you all. Thank you for supporting me. But until next time, be the one and lead.